What we have
that long promenade, you sit on the bench and watching the work.
Well, later make a cosplay.
Looking to get legitimacy.
Yeah, exactly. One of the more disturbing incidents which took place here was the public electrocution in 1903 of Topsy the elephant. But instead of being forgotten, this seemingly insignificant tale is now being remembered by a memorial here in the museum. And I've come to have a look at it with deigaard, the artist who created it, and with Gavin, a Brooklyn artist who had the idea of the memorial in the first place. Now, what was the story? Why was Topsy killed that day 100 years ago?
I've read a number of different accounts of it, and basically the information I've come to believe is true is that over the course of a couple of years it had killed 3 people. My understanding is they were all trainers. One of them, a trainer, was offended with a cigarette. And it was pretty clear they couldn't, at the time, 100 years ago, the idea of releasing that back in the wild didn't really exist. They were mostly animals, children, but then everything was kind of mistreated, so I think they had the idea that it had to be put down and there was no kind of alternative. But initially they were going to hang it, and there was an attempt to poison it that didn't work, and basically Tom said this was people. I don't think it was actually him personally who thought this idea up, but it is people that were in the park. People came to the idea that black community would be both a public spectacle. In early 1903, early January, the newspapers I read it was 18 degrees out, pretty cold. Around 1,500 people showed up to watch Topsy Memorial.
So basically, as it turned out, it was publicity stunt.
Pretty much. I mean, Luna Park hadn't opened yet, so it brought people to what would be the entryway to the park. And electricity was still something that most people didn't have in their homes, so it's kind of magical and at the same time a little frightening.
Sorry. So the centerpiece of this memorial is actually a coin-operated, I've got this a center here, I believe, the operated machine which you view individually the killing of Topsy. Now, as I put a coin in here, so I'll do that. As I put a coin in here and start it going, could you tell me a little bit about why you decided to do this way? Why you decided to let people watch individually the death when it was a mass voyeurism at the time, isn't it?
When I read more about Topsy and thought about Luna Park and the founding of it, I knew that nudisters were a part of the promenade at Luna Park that would open after she had been killed. Topsy was one of the elephants that was used to make, who helped build Luna Park. And the mutoscope, I also thought at the time, of course, about issues of capital punishment and spectacles. And I knew that in New York State they decided to quit holding public executions back in the 1830s because of mob mayhem and widows getting stoned and drunkards running around, and they become that way about human executions. So with an elephant, with a stunt like this with an elephant, the taste for it ran high. And I thought about mob mentalities, I thought about mass voyeurism, as you call it, and I thought something like this, even though it happened a long time ago, is something that the human conscience needs to observe individually. And the structure of the mutoscope, the viewfinder, is such that you put your face to it, and even your peripheral vision is protected. It's a solitary moment that you share with Topsy. And in fact, you have to accompany her to her death, and it is painful to watch.
It is painful to watch, actually. You see this huge elephant fall to the side. But are you worried that some people would come, this would just become another fiction, another part of Ken Lanning's fiction?
That is certainly the question when, you can explore the idea of voyeurism, but then you can also give voyeurism an opportunity to express itself. I hoped that in the physical expression of the mutoscope and altering its outward form and in building a sculptural stand for it that invoked, say, the copper elements of electricity or the copper-lined wooden sandals she was forced to wear to her execution, things like cable and turnbuckles and things that were used for elephant confinement, as well as ropes and chains. I have a post that was meant, these things can be esoteric references, but there's a post on which I painted flowers in the manner that you would decorate, that in India elephants are decorated for festivals. The round post is of the sort that you find building the stockades in India with which they used to capture elephants from the wild. I wanted to incorporate visual elements of the carnival and of the peep show and of the act of voyeurism, but also to include things about Topsy's home country from India. The flowers, the color, the deep color peak, the gold trim, the Mughal flower border on the painting, the idea of a night sky. I thought about Luna Park. There was a famous ride where you would go to the moon and have painted, changing painted backdrops, and the people taking the ride would be transported far above the earth perceptually. And I thought about, for Topsy, it may be a balm to our grieved consciences, but if we could think of her going to the moon and having some separation and relief from this, even as we try to remember her and commemorate her.